Namaste, Jai Gurudev. My name is Shakti Premanand and I'm from Yoga I Am. So this is our question and answer session today on the Sunday, the 3rd of January 2021. We've managed to come through to the other side, and the question that I was asked was on letting go, which is appropriate considering we've just finished a year, and a year full of letting go of a lot of our inhibitions, our beliefs, and namaste to who's joined us today, by the way, Hunwan, namaste. It's a question and answer session on letting go, and letting go of what was last year in 2020, letting go of relationships, and letting go of anything that stops us and gets in the way of being true to ourselves and true to our purpose. But in this context, it's really in relationships. So what is it that we need to let go of? This was the question that was asked. And before I go too much into that, we'll just see if some people are going to join. Because we're supposed to start at 7, so a little bit early. Namaste, Krishna, welcome. Namaste. So we're talking of letting go, and how 2020 was letting go of a whole volcano, probably for a lot of us, of our beliefs around work, employment, health, family, and all of those beliefs. And particularly today we're going to talk about letting go of what inhibits us in particular, like the individual. What is in the inhibition in us that we're holding on to so tightly that we haven't learned to let go of? So, namaste, Chitra. Welcome. Namaste. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining. We're talking on letting go in terms of what stops us, what stops our own passion, what stops us, our aliveness, what stops us from loving. And it's kind of following on from the earlier topics, which is really about self-mastery from within. Namaste, Chitra, namaste. If anybody wants to have any questions on this theme of letting go, because that was a question that people wanted to know about, then please write down below and I will try to address that. So, letting go is really a lifelong experience for a lot of us. You know, we have to let go of our jobs, we have to let go of our children when they grow up, and in some cases we have to let go of relationships, whether that's our partners, our spouses, or whether that's boyfriend or girlfriend. So, and yet it's the one area of our life where we're not even taught how to do that. Like, how do you let go? It was Buddha who said that the only constant in life is change. And yet how many of us are actually adapted to change? Like, how do we deal with that? I don't think we're ever taught that. We kind of fall over and pick ourselves up and then we learn. Namaste, leaders of the heart. Oh, very, very nice. I wrote a book called Living from the Heart. Thank you, Krishna Sai. Thank you. If you have any questions, we're talking on letting go. And we were saying that it's a skill that we're not taught, and yet it's probably the only thing that we're repeating over and over again, be that in a job change, be that in a relationship, be that within ourselves. So we're going to look at that from this perspective of consciousness, from awakening, from the path of the Kriya Yoga, which is basically about living consciously. How do we apply this skill in a conscious way? And what does that mean? Let go. I mean, what are you letting go of? Is it the external environment? Or is it our perspective? Is it our thoughts, our thinking, our beliefs, our values, what we stand for? So it's quite a expanded perspective on letting go today. We're looking at this, and if you want me to focus on anything, then please just write down the question below. Namaste to Contravento Boutique. Thank you, Hotel. Thank you for joining. So the topic is letting go, and how do we apply that consciously? Well, as I was saying earlier, Buddha had said that the only constant is change, right? And so, what is the constant? If change is change is the response, yeah, to life. Yeah, life goes. It's a wave. Sometimes it's up and sometimes it's down. And then hopefully 2021, they say, is a year of hope, right? That's what everyone's saying. And then 2020 was definitely on the valley, right? So if we're coming on to the year of the hope, then what is this constant? Yeah, because in order to overcome, thank you, namaste. In order to overcome the change, we must identify what is the constant, right? Using Buddha's analogy of that the only constant is change, yeah? And also there's another saying that we apply when we're going through a letting go moment of our lives, and that is if you set something free, if it was meant for you, then it will come back. That implies a certain flow, a dimension of just let it be, let things happen. Some say that's kind of just allowing things and it's burying your head in the sand and you're not taking full responsibility. So let's go back to the Buddhas and find out what is this constant, because that's a self-responsible way of managing the situation, of change, of letting go, and being in our own center, being within our own stillness, being present to consciousness, which is the topic of how conscious people would let go. Yeah, and it's something that we're facing again and again. If you have a question, please write it down. In the context of consciousness, therefore, constant would imply that it is what's known as awareness, as the self. And I know these are all words probably to a lot of you, but for those of you that are following spiritual practices, and certainly the Kriya Yogis, these are not words. These have become very much a part of them. It's a part of their presence. Yeah, the presence is, if you like, it's the presence is the result, is the outcome of the practices that allow you to be in this constant, which is the self, yeah, which is the self of the higher self. Or I don't want to use this segregation, however. Let's just call it self, okay? And that is what we're working towards. So that constant is what allows you to let go, because you no longer see things as separate. There's no longer this ownership or mine and possession, and it belongs to me, and I have to hold it tightly like in a fist, it belongs to me. It's really about letting go. Yeah, so you gently opening the life. So you live life on the wave. You go down the valleys, you go up the hills, and you're in the flow, in the rhythm of life. And that constant, the awareness, the presence, the self, is that perspective of being in touch with consciousness itself, with knowing that the existence is not outside of you, it's within you. That existence is you, in fact. And so that ownership, where letting go is often like it's you and me, that's what letting go implies, right? So someone's asking, truth, awareness, beauty, please explain. Mother, thank you. I will do, Krishna. So where was I now? That's right. So we were talking about this otherness, yeah? Letting go implies an otherness, that there's an external and an internal. So there's a separation. There's a you and a me. There's a segregation, yeah? There isn't this unity, which presence and flow and self and existence requires that connection with the practices of yoga, with the practices of meditation, with the practices of being in the presence of a guru, and having this energy of presence, this radiating of love, unconditional, the higher energy centers in the chakra field, yeah? Because it's all vibrational frequency. I think we're now very much clear about that. Science and physics is caught up and is very much Now, recognizing that, so we don't have to go into too much detail with that. So therefore, that whole constant, if you are in that constant, which is unity awareness of oneself, then letting go is not really letting go. Letting go is an acceptance, because the acceptance comes because you're part of the wave. You're not the particle, you're not the object, and you're not the subject. You are the wave that allows all this to happen around you. So that's the letting go. Okay, now your question. Truth, awareness, beauty. What do you mean by that, Krishna, exactly? I mean, the awareness would allow you to experience the truth, which is expressed as beauty. If I may use your words to give you the answer. Yeah? So the awareness enables you to live in the truth, which is without definition, that enables you to see the beauty. And I mean the seeing, not just the physical seeing, but beyond the five senses. It's the connection to that presence that we were speaking about earlier in the constant. Yeah. So you're with me on that, Krishna. You got that? Does that answer you? And Namaste Manoj. Happy New Year. Long time no see, no hear. Lovely to have you. We're just talking about letting go, and you probably want to recap on this video later on to hear about that. And then somebody asked the question, what is truth, awareness, and beauty? And so I think I've explained that, Krishna. Is that understood? Yeah? And if anyone has any more questions on what is letting go, then please write it down. And we're looking at this from the perspective of Kriya, yoga, and consciousness and awareness. Happy New Year to you. Yeah, happy. It's the year of hope, 2021, the year of hope for everybody. And we're letting go of 2020, and we're letting go of our own inhibitions and what stops us from living in truth. And that truth is an expression that arises from our awareness, and therefore enables us to see beauty. And beauty isn't just in the good moments. In fact, often the greatest beauty is to be seen in the most darkest of times, although at that time you probably don't think it is like that, but reality is that that's what actually occurs. So even though COVID is a crisis point for mankind, there is hopefully in this year of hope, especially in 2021, we're able to reflect back and see how planet Earth was able to take a breather, and how climate change has hopefully been stalled somewhat. And by people staying at home, there's a conservation of energy happening and not wastage of so many things. And more importantly, that people are connecting to families and themselves and have time and space, like now, to interact, engage more, because they're not spending so much time traveling and moving around. And after all, being present, being in the constant requires that. It requires that stillness. It requires you to come back to that sense of awareness, as Krishna was saying earlier. I'm glad that's answered you, Krishna. Thank you. Chitra is, can you give an intro of who you are? If not, I can check out your page to understand better of you. Okay, Chitra. Yeah, I don't know how to answer that. I don't know. I mean, yeah, just check me out. Yeah, because I don't want to spend too much time here on this Instagram. We're talking about letting go, and yeah, just there's a lot of stuff on me. You can just, I'm really nobody, and yet I'm just communicating on consciousness and awakening through the Kriya Yoga and through relationships, and as a part of life. So it's awakening as a part of life, everyday stuff that's happening, relationships, and having one's practice in order for you to wake up to yourself as consciousness and truth. And I don't know who you are either. So why don't you write down for me who you are, Chitra? If you want to. But it's more important that you get what we're talking about today, which is about letting go, and letting go is really a misnomer. Letting go suggests there's an object and subject, so where there isn't. You're welcome, Chitra. And do you want to tell me about yourself and who you are? Where are you from? No? You don't want to tell me where you're from, Chitra? Which country you're from? Are you from India? That's the problem with Instagram. People are just so shy here. I'm going to try and make this anyway every Sunday so we get to know you. Sometimes I might do it on YouTube channel. So do go to my YouTube channel, Shakti Premanand, and we'll be trying to get more interactive on this. Sure, I was just following your page and saw the lovely picture of Mahavtar Babaji, and I am from New Jersey and the USA. Yeah, Chitra, he's my guru. And yes, New Jersey, US. I haven't been to the States. I wanted to get to the States this year actually, but I never managed it. And are you a Kriyaban? I am on the path to enlightenment. Ooh. I am very pleased to hear that. And are you also a Babaji devotee, is it? So you're on the right page then, Chitra. There are no coincidences. I was in Babaji's cave earlier this year, in fact, in February. No, not this year. We're in 2021. I'm in 2020. Sorry, I haven't got my head around 2021. Yeah, in 2020 I was there, but yeah. And in fact, if you want, I would suggest you go to my YouTube. There's a meditation that we did in Babaji's cave. Then it's 10 minutes, but it gives you a sense of presence of being in Babaji's cave in Dwarahat, where Lahiri Masya was invited and given the Kriya Yoga path to spread to mankind, who is a householder yogi, like a lot of us are here on Instagram, I think. Or maybe not, I don't know. Maybe you're not, I don't know. Are you a practicing Kriyaban or a Kriya Yogi? Or anyway, any more questions on letting go? And as I was saying earlier, letting go is a misnomer because it really only applies if there is a separation, and separation doesn't exist if you are in presence and awareness and unity and in the constant. So the constant letting go, it's nonsense, right? Because there's nothing to let go of. Because you are existence and existence is you. But there are stages along the way that people have to go through, clearly. You have to go through those stages, and not everybody is able to just let go. We have these attachments, we have our beliefs, we have our karmas, we have, and therefore we need the practices of yoga, meditation, of the presence of the energy of awakened people also. You do. So you're a Kriya Yogi. Good. Wonderful. Nice. Namaste. Nice to meet you. And so any more questions on letting go, and in this context of consciousness, which is what we're all about here on Yoga I Am. It's all about consciousness and awakening within life, in the tradition of Lahiri Masya, which is being a part of life and holding on to the truth, Sat, as Krishna was saying earlier. So if no one has any more questions, then I will go. And then we will end this until next Sunday. I think I quite like this Sunday evening slot, whilst I'm here in the UK in lockdown with everyone else, because I wasn't able to make it to India yet. We're working on it, maybe by the end of the month, God willing. Let's see. Okay, so if there are no more questions, then Jai Gurudev. Please give me super. Krishna, I don't understand what you're saying. Please give you super. I'm not sure what you mean by that. But until next time, Jai Gurudev. Namaste. Thank you for joining. And do go and look at some of those YouTubes on Babaji Chitra.